us wearing the coffee. Didn't even get up. He got paid internship at
right.
Superior.
Good evening. Welcome to the April 23rd meeting of the East Bridgewater School Committee. I will take a motion to open the meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Gordon, seconded by Ellen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you to EBCAM for recording and live streaming our meetings.
If EBCAM, looks like they have new cameras.
They do, yes.
This is very 2001
Very
Space
fancy.
Odyssey kind of thing.
2001.
Oh,
And-
2010.
The movie holds up.
Whatever the movie was.
And we start with Lilia.
Great. I hope everyone had a good break, relaxing. Some people went on trips and some people stayed back, but either way, I think everyone had a pretty good break. Nice weather, so that was good. Starting at the Central School, this month is Math Month for them. It's an Olympic theme, and it's going to end on May 2nd with their math night. So that will wrap up their month of math in that event. I believe some of the high schooler NHS students will be volunteering too, so that should be good to get everyone involved. The preschoolers had a visit from the fire department with Touch a Truck, so I'm sure that they enjoyed that. I remember doing that, and they have been working on safe routes to school, so pedestrian safety and all that stuff for preschool or kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. And the class of 2037 will have their kindergarten meeting on Wednesday, May 8th. So that's crazy to think about, but that should be good to get them informed for their next 12 years.
Mrs. Nichols will still be there. No.
Maybe Mrs. Burke.
Let's see. So the middle school at the high school, so the 7th and 8th grade, they have MCAS. This year, 8th grade, they added civics MCAS. So they have a boatload this year. They have 3 MCAS. They take science, math, and civics. So it's a new one. I think it's kind of a trial kind of thing this year. So that should be wrapping up in the next 2 weeks for them. And then it transfers to the high school AP exams. So we have a bunch. We have like calculus, AP environmental science, lit, everything you can think of. So excited to get those over with. But then we transfer to prom, which is May 3rd for the juniors and May 10th for the seniors. There is a financial presentation, so it's going to be credit for life for the seniors, so teaching them all about finance for the future. That got postponed. It was supposed to be Friday, but that will still happen, so it's a good opportunity for us to kind of see what the future holds. On Monday, there's going to be a prom meeting or just a meeting in general for the entire school. It's the second half of it will be upperclassmen, so we'll be talking about just prep for prom, like the alcohol, drugs kind of thing. And then Mr. Silva is planning, as of now, to send an email on Parent Square to the parents explaining prom expectations and what the school expects on their part for the night of prom. Let's see. Anything else? Spring sports are still happening. We have 19 school days left for seniors, so I'm excited. A lot of fun activities coming up, and yeah. That's all I have.
At Mitchell School, you have MCAS going on.
We do. 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Yes.
ELA.
Fun.
Rest up, everyone.
Lily, are you going to both proms?
No, I wish. Just senior.
Thank you, Lilia.
Where are the proms?
They're both at the canoe club,
At the canoe
so
club?
staying close.
Nice. I like that. Next up, Superintendent's Corner. Do you have anything you want me to just?
This is, every time we come back from the April vacation, I send out a quick email on the Sunday night, Monday morning before we start to our principals and the administrative team that this is where we are fast and furious and we have to hold on tightly as we move forward, because there's a lot going on, a lot of field trips. As you just heard about the high school, at the proms, we have field trips at the Central School, at the Mitchell School. MCAS testing is going on. We'll be in and out of the building. People, sports are going on. We've got, the weather is getting better. We've got to make sure that we're doing the right things. It seems that when the weather gets nicer, sometimes we lose our minds a little bit, and we get a little off course. So it's fast and furious here to the end. As you heard from Lilia, there's 19 days for seniors. We're excited about that. Then after that, the night after we have your graduation on the turf, we're going to close the track down and the turf, and the project begins right away, and hopefully it'll be done for the fall season with the new track and field. Tomorrow, with Thursday, tomorrow's Wednesday. On Thursday, Dr. Williams and the Central School team, building committee, will try to will interview the OPMs.
We'll be entering 10 submitted packets. We chose 5 to interview.
So it's a busy week for Central School and the feasibility study, but those things are moving forward. We have a lot going on. And so then I'll send it over to you to talk about the budget.
Sure. So a couple weeks ago, timeline might be fuzzy in my head, the budget subcommittee met together with Liz and John, and thanks to some, John can correct me if I'm wrong here, if I remember correctly, several assumptions came in lower than we anticipated, and we were able to compromise and come down a little bit on our final budget number, on our certified budget number.
Right. You know, the budget starts in
Yep.
October. It's a moving target. You know, we try to get better estimates as we move along. And yes, we were able to reduce the certified number by about 300,000.
And as you all saw, Liz had forwarded to you an email that I had written to the Finance Committee detailing that. And I believe at their last Finance Committee meeting, they agreed to move forward with the town budget. And I think that's the story. That's about it.
But don't we have, as a full committee, have to vote? We'll vote on that on the 7th, or?
So so right now, the number, our final request to the town is lower than our certified budget. You all saw the letter that I sent to Dan. Does anybody have any questions about that, or?
I'm just wondering, are there any other positions that are there any, like, what impact will it have with us, with the schools? I mean, like, for positions not being refilled, for retirements, or for?
No.
We believe, Chat, the House came through with more money, so we got some more money towards our Chapter 70, so that brought us up a little bit more, and we were able to come in a little bit lower on some, like, as John just said, a moving target. You're trying to estimate and predict what, we're gonna get from a vendor throughout the year, and as we got closer to the budget season, we tried to get, the vendors to come in, the bus number came in a little bit lower. Some vending contracts came in a little bit lower. We were able to work things out differently with some of the curriculum work. We were able to pay that ahead. I know that some of the special ed reserves, we were able to move those around and dip into those from the state, and I think there'll be one more shot at it, one more shot at getting some more allocated. So where we are today, we're in good shape, and that's why I believe that the subcommittee agreed that if we could get to that number, that we could get through this year. And as Lauren and I spoke, and John and I have been going back and forth, that, we understand where the town is and what the town is asking. I want to thank the subcommittee. I want to thank John and Gina and John Phelan and everybody who puts the work into getting this budget and designing a budget that is sustainable and reliable for our schools. Social emotional learning, we're going to hear from tonight. It is very important for us. We do need the adjustment counselors. We do need guidance counselors. We do need school psychologists. We do need teachers. We need teacher assistants. We have the largest staff of any department in the town. And we are the school department, so we're sort of a different entity, and we sort of we're part of the town, but we're sort of our own silo when it comes to the funding. We believe that paying ahead of some of the things that we can do, and some of the things that we've allocated, and some of the things that we maybe have some extra funds in special ed to pay ahead, that's what we'll be able to do. And so the agreement came down, and I think FinCom came out with a number last week that we could handle. Or they voted upon a number. Our number was $27,129,049, and you certified that on 3/26/24. Their number comes back just a little bit lower, and so we'll go with that number, I believe, and the chair will amend that, and then we'll,
It's already on the warrant as the
It's already-
number, so we don't have to do anything at town meeting.
so we'll move forward.
Yep.
But I still just want to make sure we as a full committee vote in affirmative of that number, because we haven't done that.
Right, so we can do that because we didn't
Right.
have all of this conversation ready in time as we were putting together this agenda. Next meeting, we'll, just to tie up loose ends, we'll approve reducing our number to that, just so that it's all tied up before town meeting. If anybody has any questions, we can chat about it. You can ask, budget subcommittee, anybody? That's fine. Okay. And now we can do strategic plan number 3. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Nice to see you
Hi.
all again.
Nice to see you.
So we have good, exciting things to report to you from the district lens as well as from each individual school. So tonight I'm going to start with something that we've been working on as a district that Dr. Williams organized for us on April 8th. It was before break, but we met with Ann Ridgway from a program called Care Solace. And it's a program that's designed to kind of bridge the gap between families, staff, and their families to get the mental health and social need. I don't know about the other buildings, but I know oftentimes at ours, we hear from parents, we're on a waiting list, we're trying to get therapy for our student. I can't find anyone, they won't take children, they won't take my insurance. So this is a wonderful program that acts as the middleman. We can actually refer a child to this program, and the family can give them all the information about their insurance, what they're looking for, whether they're looking for virtual or in-person therapy, and they take the information and they say within 5 days they would have a care plan for the student. It's also available to staff and families of staff as well. So we're really excited about that program that Dr. Williams has brought to us. It's very inclusive. It has over 200 languages that it's available in. That is really going to be an outreach to all of our families. There's an anonymous pathway you can take as well. If you don't want to share information, there's an anonymous pathway we can take. So we're really excited to be able to offer this to our students, families, and staff starting on May 1st. I believe Dr. Williams said tonight that this would be a 5-year license we would have with this company. So as a district, this is really a huge step forward with helping support the social emotional learning needs of our families and students and staff. So great news there. At Central School, we're busy, as Lilia said, with our math night and welcoming the students from the class of 2037 in a couple of weeks. Right now, we're also working on starting to make the transition from the grade that students are currently in to the grade that they'll be in September. So this requires a lot of legwork, transition, and the placement process is really a group effort. So it starts with the teachers, and they're working on their placement cards where they input all the student information, where they are with DIBELS, iReady, their math scores, their social emotional needs. They're also putting students together in peer clusters. So they're looking at their class that they currently have, and they're clustering students in groups of 2 or 3 that might be a really good match for the student to have friendship-wise moving to the next grade. So we'll take a look at that, and during the week of May 6th, we'll start our placement process. We've also been working very closely with Mrs. Dupre and the Mitchell School to get our 2nd graders ready to make their big jump to becoming 3rd graders. We've had meetings with administration. There have been special education teachers that have come to visit the sub-separate students. We'll be setting up visits for our students to go visit similar programming at the Mitchell School for our special education students. And we have a lot of wonderful transition activities set up for the students in the near future. That also involves meetings between guidance and adjustment counselors from one school to the next to kind of give the next school a heads up on students and their individual needs. It's a great opportunity for us to just chat about what's coming up for those students. And I think that's kind of all I had to share tonight. I know that we've been working really diligently on our child study team process and how students are referred to special education and how we equip teachers with more tools in their tool bag. And we had a wonderful opportunity at the CASE conference the week before break to work as a district on how to streamline that and make it a process that is successful in working from one building to the next in a way that works for each building, because it's the same process, but it's very different from building to building as far as the needs go. So I know my colleagues will be talking about that, but it was just great to see and be a part of the 3 buildings working together and not in silos. So it's been really exciting. Thank you.
That's awesome. And I just want to echo what Mrs. Nichols just said, is we really are working really cohesively as a district to really improve the social emotional component and what we offer to students and families. And we are just so proud and impressed to be a part of that work. So to share with you a little bit more about what we've all been doing as a district, we really focused on the cultures of dignity piece, and what dignity means and how we define it and what it means to just be human and how we respect each other as human beings. We actually are trying to really infuse our SEL lessons into the classrooms so that every student is exposed to those lessons. And I know Mr. Paquette has really embraced that and has made it a goal of the Mitchell School, and it's something that we've talked about too as a district level of how do we really teach those direct and discrete skills to students, like how do you manage anger, or what do you do when you're feeling overwhelming emotions, and giving them those tools in their toolbox so that they can adapt it and handle that on their own. So a couple of lessons that I got to observe recently, and kudos to our adjustment counselors. One of the lessons Mr. Fast did, he worked with our 5th graders on a lesson called Just Kidding. And you might say something like, oh, you're ugly, just kidding. That hurts someone's feelings if they're not friends with you or you don't have that relationship. And the difference between that and teasing and sarcasm, and our 5th graders really started to understand that concept, and we're going to do more with that. Another one I got to see was on dealing with anger. Mrs. Jacobs, our adjustment counselor, did that one with our 3rd graders. And it was really interesting because one of the young ladies was angry because she didn't get a Jolly Rancher, and she dealt with it right in the moment. And they talked about triggers and what triggers your anger and how you can manage that anger effectively with deep breathing and other strategies that you can use. So it's been great, and we want to take that to the next level and really have the teachers take the lessons now and the topics and really address those kinds of things in the moment when they're happening and use all the tools that they've been given. So it's really exciting to see and help them grow socially and emotionally. As Mrs. Nichols said, and I know Mrs. Anderson too, we've worked on the CST process, the child study process. It really has been something that we're streamlining. We're making sure that all staff understand what the process looks like. It really is talking about what does the child need. It could be anything. It could be behaviorally. And tonight I'll just focus on a little bit about the behavior piece because we're developing resources in each building. And like Deb said, it might look a little different in each building, but just really a template where all the staff will know what resources are currently available, and we're adding to that. So we're focusing now on our CST focus group with the behavioral piece and the social emotional piece. What do we have in Tier 1 for all students to access? What do we have in Tier 2? What's in Tier 3? So right now we're trying to add to things like our social groups, our lunch bunch groups, self-regulation groups, how we use our behavior specialists effectively in giving kids breaks if they need it, or giving them space to calm down and refocus and regulate their emotions, looking at how we use our BCBA in the district. And even things like behavior plans. How do we educate our teachers in using incentive plans and what works for children and what doesn't? So having that team process to brainstorm together with a bunch of professionals on what's best for kids has been really rewarding. And I think you'll hear that from everyone else as well. So we're continuing to grow in that area. To add to the Care Solace piece, what an exciting opportunity. Oftentimes, we're in meetings with parents and families, and we realize that a child might need something beyond what our guidance and adjustment staff may need. And so I know even I myself have said, I really think that, Mom, Dad, you need to seek some outside therapy for so-and-so. And I'll hear the same things. There's a wait list. We can't find someone. Our insurance doesn't match with someone in the area. So this will be a wonderful bridge to help connect our families and have our children get what they need. The other things I just wanted to mention, because we are really working hard as a district on making sure that kids have a sense of belonging and connectedness to our schools. And some of the ways that we do that is just by developing and building culture. So we've had some programs at the Mitchell School that have been purposeful so that kids feel connected. So one of the things I just wanted to mention is Brazilian Beats. We had a group, it was a small group, come in, and it really taught the students about the Brazilian culture. We have currently 8 Portuguese families in our school, so we felt like we wanted to make sure that they felt connected and represented. And it was so heartwarming to see a couple of our students on the day that they were coming. They wore their soccer shirts, and they had actually Brazilian flags, and they were called up on stage. And it was so amazing to see them just feel so connected in that way and represented at our school. The other thing I wanted to mention is we have things like band that sometimes we overlook as it's an opportunity, but it's also an SEL piece. Because in talking with Ms. Garland, she says things like, band is all-inclusive. We accept kids that want to join, and we had a couple of students just recently participate in the Pops concert, and they were so proud of themselves. And these are students with autism or different kinds of challenges that are participating and developing their self-esteem, and it's so wonderful to see that they're part of that. And then the last thing I just want to mention is the care closet that we have at the Mitchell School. And I give a lot of props to Mrs. Kogler, one of our behavior specialists. It's something new that we're trying, and essentially it involves donations with clothing, food. We even had a donation from Adidas recently with all different sneaker sizes, and we've had families access that. And no questions asked, they come in, someone got some sneakers for an infant in their family because they needed sneakers. Mostly it's access for food, of course, children love food, If they forget their snacks, or maybe that they didn't have anything to eat, we might send home some food for the family. So kudos to her for thinking of the idea and maintaining it, and it really has helped some of our families. So all of those things kind of tie into the SEL piece and what we're trying to do to support our community within the Mitchell School and as a district. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Anderson at the high school.
So I passed you guys out the JED baseline report. So this was done in January. We started in the fall. We had to do school assessments, we did surveys, we did the staff. If you look at our numbers, 449 students took it, so it's all anonymous, which was a 89% success rate for us, so our kids took it super serious. Then we had the nice gentleman, Brad, come in January, who then sat with the steering committee, the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, our administration, all our guidance, mental health, sat with him for a full day to go over what I gave you today. It's a lot of information, so please take your time to take a look. You can always reach out to Dr. Williams or myself if you have questions on those. It's ongoing. He will be meeting with us for the next 3 years for the goals that we have in place. But some of the statistics on here was very eye-opening. If you go to page 9, students were asked the following suicide-related questions. In the past, have you ever seriously thought about attempting suicide? 20% said yes, which is such a high number. In the past, did you make a plan for attempting suicide? 13% said yes. And in the past, have you attempted suicide? 8% said yes. So we know as a district where our goal is going is getting in another adjustment counselor into the high school to address some of these needs. But this has helped us find some goals now that we're starting with Brad and with our administration, like a crisis management plan is going to be put in and a crisis management team. So that's something new. We're also going to put up kind of an access center for students to be able to look exactly who their guidance counselor is, who the adjustment counselor is, because we're feeling that some kids aren't knowing or accessing the guidance suite or the guidance counselors. So that's our next goal, is to really do that and put it up on a platform. But we've learned a lot. Karen Carlisle is the adjustment counselor at the high school, and Veronica Frank is the school psychologist. They're steering it, so they're doing a great job with it. But we've already kind of seen some change within how we're handling things, so it's a really good thing. I just wanted you guys to kind of have that information. But we will be doing surveys, so we'll be able to see if there's the changes we're making that they'll put in the survey to know if it's making a difference or not. Okay, so that's that. And then I want to talk about Active Minds, which is our mental health suicide prevention group that just started. On 3/16, they did Out of the Darkness Walk suicide prevention at Bridgewater State University. We were one of the smallest groups, but we were one of the biggest fundraisers, and we raised over $2,000. So we got to walk around with a big banner. It was very exciting. So we wanted to say thank you to the community because they really stepped up and supported that. And then on Thursday morning, the Active Mind kids, for the whole week before, wrote on cards that said, "You're beautiful, the world needs you," just affirmations, and then they blared music as the kids and staff came in and they passed them out. So we heard a lot of positive feedback on that. And then they went to the Kyle Cares Conference at Patriots Place, and then they are gonna work on some things for May. Active Mind started with 10 students in September. There are over 50 now. So that's a very big thing. And then the last thing is the prom. EB Hope, who we partner with, made us, I promise, to make the right call, which we will be handing out to parents and students. And on the back it says, "I promise to have a plan for the evening. If anything falls through, to call my parent or help." So then they signed, the parent signs, "I promise that if you need a ride for any reason, I will come and get you with no questions asked. I just want you home safe." And then a friend's promise, if they don't feel comfortable, "I promise to have your back if you are in need for any help or any reason." So these will all be given out to the prom and the parents. And then the prom, which we're doing, we have a speaker coming in who talks about choices and his life and how it's changed his life and those things. And that is April 29th 7, 8, 9 will be at 8:30, and at 10 o'clock will be 10, 11, 12. So that will be another part for us for the social emotional wellness of our students. So lots happening here, and really proud of it, and love working with these ladies. So we just keep pushing forward every single day.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No? Thank you very much.
Nice job.
All right. Next, we have our out-of-state field trip request for Roger Williams Zoo that we also have, there's material in our backup, and there's also an action item. We also have another request that came in that is not on the agenda, but we're gonna talk about it and approve it anyway. So the first one. Like, I don't know. The first one is the trip, grade 2, to Roger Williams Zoo. We have all of the documentation here, description of the trip. Is there any questions, discussion, comments?
No, I think it's a wonderful trip.
As do I. I chaperoned on that one, and
I did too
it
eons
was a
ago.
great day. We also sang at the Rocks that day.
The same day?
The same day. It was a long day, but it was really fun. Anyway, moving on.
I noticed on the form, there's no signatures for the building principal and all. I know Mr. Burns is presenting it, but no signatures and approved dates and things. No big deal, I'm sure they will, but
Yeah.
A letter.
Details, Gordon.
you got a form for a reason, right? That's all.
I'm sure they approve it, though.
I think it's on the letter, and I think that's how she does it.
Oh,
That's how
okay.
we've sort of gone with that, but.
Okay.
Okay.
I move that we approve the Roger Williams trip.
Moved by Ellen,
Second?
seconded by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also move, because it was not reasonably anticipated by the chair, I move that we approve this marine biology trip in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. I think it's a great opportunity for the kids.
Yes, this is another trip that's been happening for a while now.
Second.
So, yes, moved by Ellen, seconded by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Superintendent's, let me catch up myself here, because we just did an action item.
I hope they have a great time on their trips.
Yes, me too. I hope they have nice weather. Mid-cycle review, Superintendent Legault shared with me some of the notes on this earlier today. I'm gonna go through them, compare them to the goals that we voted on, and meet with her sometime before our next meeting, and then I'll come back and report to you guys on that.
Are we tabling this?
So we'll table that. Well, it's just a discussion. It's not really an action item, but yeah, I'll come back to that at our next meeting. And now,
The large section of
Ellen?
policies. I'm so sorry.
you're up.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Sorry.
The show is yours.
So, has everybody had a chance to look at these policies? So, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? There was one I was gonna bring up, DJ,
DJA.
DJE, no
purchasing.
procurement. I was gonna
Okay.
talk about that, so we'll just say that for the end.
Okay.
But does anybody have any questions about anything else of the first section of policies that are for the second reading?
I do, and it might be like a housekeeping thing. I noticed that some of these say on the bottom East Bridgewater Public Schools, but then the updated one says Mass Association of School Committees,
Can you tell me which one you're looking at so I can?
most of them. So like this first one here,
That one's Mass Association.
the old one says East Bridgewater Public Schools. Well,
Yep.
I don't know which, and then the one with the changes mark says Mass
Okay.
Association of School Committees.
Yes, because that one's specifically from the MASC's policy manual, but this, the East Bridgewater, so when we update these,
Yeah.
this will say, it won't say MASC at the bottom.
Okay, because it will be in our policy
Yeah,
book.
and then
Okay.
it'll also say on the bottom, when it was updated
Okay.
by by us, the school committee, it'll have that date on it.
To me, I have notes on some of them, so it'd be easier to me if we just flip through them in order.
Okay?
So that was AA.
Yep.
Next up is,
Do you want to start with AA?
yeah, I had no issues with AA,
Oh, okay.
given those notes. And we're on ACA. Right? I had no issue.
Well, does anybody
I had
else
a
have something?
question.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, one at a time.
For the ACA, who is the Title IX compliance officer?
Dr. Williams.
Okay.
Bye, Lilia. Thank you.
What? I would like to talk to you. No, I just realized I didn't know, so now I know. Thank you.
Any other questions on this one?
ACA.
So nobody else had any questions on the AA?
The only thing I was just gonna say is today, we did get a legal update from MASC's attorneys. I don't know if that's gonna affect,
For which, is
or,
it?
the Title IX, ACA.
Okay.
So, I think it's good as it is, but I'm just saying, this just came out because there's been
Oh.
another amendment.
If we have to update it again, we'll do it.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
just saying that this just came out, but I think we're good.
Okay.
I'm sure.
For ADC, I noticed that there seems to be a lot of, it's kind of minor, but it's just kind of like a point of note where, it says including vapor devices, e-cigarettes within the school buildings on the old one, but then the new one has a very substantial list of
Oh,
possible
yes.
implements, but they're not indicated as a change. So I wanted to make sure we had,
Oh, yes. Well, we don't have those, but we would have these changes.
Take over.
Because what might have
so
happened
this would
is-
just replace the
Yes.
old one
Yeah.
regardless. Okay.
And, sorry, the only other question I have on this, the last line there, it says, signs will be posted in all school buildings informing the general public of the district policy. Are those in place?
Are you on ADC?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
ADC.
okay.
Yep.
The last line.
Oh, yes, okay.
We do not have signs posted in all buildings.
Okay, I guess the meeting's over.
So that's,
There are signs posted, I can't, but they're not at all buildings.
Right.
You know, if you go out to the field, it says there's no smoking, there's no drinking, there's no,
Okay.
but, I think we have most of them, but I would have to take a double check on that.
well, the next step, Gordon, could be implementing the policies. You could do a
Okay.
compliance audit if you'd like.
Gordon, that's all yours.
Look at you and your good ideas.
I don't know if I volunteer for that, but okay.
Anybody,
Go on.
are there any other questions about ADC? BBAA, member authority?
You notice there's no, on the updated one, there's no numbers 9 and 10. And they seem pretty generic. I don't know why, if there was a reason why they came off there.
And it looks like
I don't know
that
why
says
this one
page one
didn't-
of two, but we only got page one.
That was my note too. It looked like, it
Oh,
seems like there's a
didn't even
missing
notice that.
page on this one.
Okay.
Let me see my, I brought my old agenda. Hold on 1 minute, let me just see. That was EBAA.
And the only other note I had is this would be a good one to include in the new member orientation package. So if we agree with that, I'll send that over to you, Mike, with that note.
I think that's fine.
So, I don't know what happened to BBAA.
So why don't we pull that one out
Yeah. that's
and
why I
we
just
can make
started
sure
late.
they're there. Okay, so we'll pull that one out. I'm keeping track. BBBA and BBB. Member qualifications, oath of office. Any questions?
On the second paragraph where it says, official certification of having sworn the oath before an officer duly qualified to administer the oaths. In our case, that's the town clerk. I don't know why can we just say that you got to be
Where are
sworn in
you?
by the town
Where are
clerk?
you? Second
Second paragraph. Each new member.
Oh, yep.
I had noted that as well, that the committee secretary takes that, like that's how it's written in the policy, but
Oh, yeah.
we've
You know what
never,
else
I don't know,
too
that
is,
I didn't hand it to a secretary, and I've been an acting secretary, and I don't know my job, so.
The old policy
I
also
didn't take
says
any
the
oath,
same
but-
thing. It says, having sworn the oath before an officer duly qualified to administer oath. It's the same one on the old policy also.
So I think the point becomes either, well, if this is the policy, then whoever the committee secretary is, if it's written this way, needs to actually be keeping a record of those oaths. That's how the policy is written. So if we're not going to do that, then can we change it to say that it's, or can we add something to say it's kept at the town hall?
Yes, I think right now it is kept at the town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
It is.
But then that's not following the policy,
Okay.
unless we say that.
I mean, it's one thing, yeah, it's one thing to have a policy, but it should be as clear as possible so that there's no confusion, right?
So for this one, just for the sake of
That little-
expedience,
The thing that Gordon, you and Becky put together on that little step-by-step,
the orientation?
yes, that should be in there. This line, this little 2 1/4 lines should probably be in there saying, under the roles, is there a section in there for the secretary or no?
No.
There might be a reference.
We might have noted that it is,
Turning in
but,
at the town clerk's office, but yeah, it should be new member, okay?
so then if a secretary is going to take that, where's that remaining?
Like where do we?
Right, so if someone handed that to the secretary next year, where's that living?
I would say with the clerk.
The town clerk and the
No, with the
secretary
school
just-
committee clerk.
Oh,
Seems a bit redundant,
yeah.
It does.
I think
if
it's
it
fine
can
if
stay at
the
the town hall.
If the
Yeah.
town, if the secretary on the committee just verifies that the town hall has it, I think that should be sufficient, right?
Yeah, I think in the past, the town hall has called after a certain amount of time if they haven't had the new member sworn in. They said, by the way, John Doe, who joined your committee, was elected in May, they haven't been sworn in. I don't know if that was in the fall.
Well, so there's legal references, there's MGL reference, so I don't know if it's law that, we probably have to check and see.
So
if
why
it's
don't
law.
we'll add this one to the pile of ones that need some more, research done. And move on to school councils. Now, this just looks like a whole new policy was rewritten and
Can I-
substituted for the.
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
For these, do we have the ability to add something here? Like when there is one that requires MGL, which I know we chatted briefly about last time, is it okay for us to add into a paragraph some wording that,
Like what?
that it's kept at the town hall?
I think
Like
it
this
is as
was-
long as it's
Oh.
not legally required for us to do it the way the policy
Gotcha.
outlines.
Okay,
So that's what we would have to check.
okay.
Yeah,
Someone would have to go into the MGLs and see what those are saying before we can make a change.
Okay.
well, and I started to make a list of things that have to be checked with the lawyers, so
Okay,
I'll just add it to the list.
okay. Anything else on that one?
Probably that's a simple one, I think.
Okay. School councils. This one just looked pretty much like like a rewording or beefing up of the old one.
Yes, that's a rewrite.
The note I had was, it's buried in here somewhere, but to me, it should start out with a definition of what the school council is. It goes right into the mechanism, but it doesn't say, by the way, here's what the school council is designed to do, here's what their authority is, here's who they work with, and then follow from there. But
Well, I think it's kind of built into the policy as a whole. It's just not explicitly stated.
And the only other thing, the three bullet points at the bottom of the first page, or even probably going over the fourth, is, how, do those bullet points coincide or jive with the mission and vision statement of the district? I mean, it should be coordinated that, okay, that they're the same sort of bullet points.
Right, and it says in the second paragraph that the school, decisions which are made at the school level must be aligned with the budget policies, curriculum, and long-range, short-range goals adopted by the school committee. So I feel like if all of those pieces are aligned, then it should be.
It should be okay?
Then it could be fine.
Okay.
Which they were, when I was on the central school council, the school councils were part of drafting and writing the strategic plan. Right, so that, I was on it that year that it was being rewritten, so the councils have a lot of voice in how each school, at least it was, right?
Yeah, they do the school improvement.
They do the school improvement plans, and so they align with all of that, and there was a lot of talk and work at the school level about how we are aligning with the strategic plan.
Okay.
But I think that the point I kind of took from that is wondering if in our meetings, we hear from school council, to see how that flow happens. I don't know how many times a year or once a year, but it seems like it folds in to see that continuum of how it goes. It would make sense to hear from school council, especially with the way it's worded, that we're aligned with it in that way. At least once a year or something. I don't know how that works.
I agree. Pretty good.
When the school council, don't they usually meet with us? They come, or, the principals are usually the chair of the school council, so
They're
don't we?
co-chair according
They're
to this
Yeah,
policy.
co-chair with a parent or whoever.
I think it would be nice for the principal and whoever is the co-chair on the school council to come.
Just put add to school agenda.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Just
I think that would be
what's
nice.
some determined amount
Once or
of
twice,
time.
like, it doesn't have to be all the time, once or twice a year, maybe more. I mean,
Because
you
the
guys-
people in the
you
school
guys can
councils
drive
are
that bus.
they're actively working on the things that are discussed here.
Right, and I know we get reports from the principals from time to time, but I think having a focus, I think that'd be cool. But so policy-wise, is everybody okay with this one? Okay. G, school committee policy development. Very meta.
What made sense to me is that first line, the school committee will develop policies, I put with the superintendent. To me, it doesn't, that's the only way it makes sense to me, is that, Liz has the background, the expertise to help us navigate these things. Who knows what kind of policy we could come up with, less unfettered by any reasonable concern. So that's what I thought. And then that,
Oh, sorry, Gordon, I don't want to interrupt you.
no, the only other point was that, again, this is a good reference for a new member to look at. Sorry, Ellen, go ahead.
Usually, when there's like a policy in question, I can only go by what I've done in the past, is talk to the superintendent or talk to someone, whoever the policy might pertain to, or what department might pertain to. You know what I mean? If we had to make massive changes, but we don't usually have that kind of thing going on.
No, probably not, but if you think about it in its most generic terms, if we came up with a policy, let's say, and we decide to vote on it, to me, we're sitting at a meeting with the superintendent. I want to hear, does she agree with it, disagree with it, before we make a final vote on it.
Well, policy, that I'm preaching to the choir here. Policy is one of the three things the school committee has.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, I don't foresee anybody making any policies without input
Right.
from the superintendent.
Yeah, no,
But I think it's fine as is, too.
okay.
We could do either way, because there's no MGL on it. There's nothing, I don't see any reference to MGL.
Okay.
so We could say in conjunction with superintendent as necessary or something.
I would like to add the "and as necessary." I do think Gordon's 100% right. None of us are in education at this level, so it is good to use our resources.
Yeah, okay.
How does everybody else feel about that? Before we move on to the next one.
I think all that sounds fine. The part that stood out to me was in that second paragraph with talking about through the study and evaluation of reports concerning the execution of policies, and I don't feel like in the past 2 years for me, like we've talked much about policies or talked much about the study and evaluation of reports concerning policies, and I honestly don't have a solution for it. It was just more this noting that I don't feel we do a lot of that, and it would seem like an area of improvement for the committee to focus a little more on whatever that area is. So that's like a bigger conversation, I think, but that part stood out to me.
Well, I wonder what shape that would take, Liz, so, I don't.
Well, this is the
suppose
first,
it's
like
like
the
anything
first
else.
time we've had a
Does that
big
mean, like,
overhaul.
testing and things like that?
You hear about it when it's broken kind of thing.
Right.
We
So-
follow policy, and we, and then we put protocols to those policies that the school committee advises us to follow. Most
Yeah.
policies come from Massachusetts general law, or your own policies that you want something to see happen, and so it's really, we're following the law. I used the most recent, we just redid the bullying policy. Filed MGL law, then we went, gave it to our attorneys, then we went back to our handbooks. So it's a constant redo. This Title IX is gonna be redone again and again as we continue to evolve.
I think
agree-
the bullying
agree
one
with-
becomes
I
a good
agree with
point.
Becky with regards to where are we seeing the evaluation of the reports, which is, I kind of think what you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
because that becomes a good example. And I don't, this I know gets dicey, because I don't know
So
what
we don't
information
have-
we're privy to,
we,
right?
as a
Like, that
school
becomes
committee-
part of it. But the policy is written in a way that sounds to me like we are studying and evaluating reports concerning that these policies are executed.
So we
But I don't know
we
how
as
that
a school
works.
committee, so I've been on this committee 10 years already, like I'm coming up, finishing my 10th year. And I've never seen an evaluation, any kind of a report or anything with our policy manual. So we would probably need to come up with something like that. Like
Yeah.
that would be, that's a that we'd have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't think that's we doing that, though. I think that we get it reported to us, though, right?
Well, not every policy is like, okay, I'll just use one as an example. So we just talk, yeah, so like the one with the signs around, I don't know if we have them or not, about the tobacco or whatever. There's like, and I'm sure there's one about the school council, there's other little things in there. I would go back to MASC or go maybe research. I would research and see if there are other school committees or if they know of any reports that are used currently or anything like that, where it would be something simple.
I think simple.
It might
would be-
also just be speaking in general terms, like
Right.
we get plenty of reports and data from people working on the strategic plan, from the superintendent, assistant superintendent, like, so I would hesitate to look at reports as too specific.
Yeah.
I mean, study and evaluation of the reports that you're getting, and also ask, like, of course, I think that the overall message is to be a little bit more invested as a committee in maybe the policy work. Like, I know we were joking earlier, but, periodically, as it says that we're supposed to do, going through the policies and making sure, oh, wait, are we actually doing this in practice? Things like that.
To me, what would make sense is just sort of in a most broad sense, is once a year. Just have the superintendent report. I want to let you know, we're adhering to all the policies. We don't have any substantive issues with any of the policies. Like, in other words, we need a policy about X, Y, and Z. We would hear that from administration. But absent that, Liz might go through, all the policies, to the best of our ability, we're adhering to them all. Or we really need to develop a policy on X, Y, Z. And then, so that would be on us to say, work with the administration and come up with it. I just don't think coming up with a whole, like, what would the report look like? It's like, all right, we used policy X, Y, Z 12 times this year. It's like, that means you gotta track it, to
I'm
me-
gonna do some research and see if there's any kind of a reporting out there.
I wonder if we're taking this too literally.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's not a specific report on, it's not like a policy audit. It's you're taking the information that you're getting in the course of the year and looking at it through a policy lens. How does this adhere to our policies? Does it, you know, and it's not all of the policies. You have a Title IX policy, right? Something comes up related to that policy. You look at it all through a policy lens when you're getting information.
Yeah, I guess my only kind of, so like, if we were to develop or look at policy and then evaluation, like we talked about, like the cell phones and how certain grades were, you know, we're restricting cell phones. So is there any reporting data that comes back around that says, hey, we found that this is an effective policy that we've implemented, we'd like to carry that forward? So that's just kind of where I'm trying to connect the
But
two together.
it might not even be an actual physical report. It might be the teachers going to the superintendent saying, the kids are revolting to this policy, and we
Yeah.
have to take that information in and then say, do we have to revise the policy or provide additional support? So it might not be
And I
as
think
concrete as.
agree with that.
And that's where,
That's-
that's for me, for sure, where like part of that conversation comes in, that I don't think that we as a committee, at least in my past 2 years, have spent time talking through the lens of policy
Yeah.
when we're hearing about information. And I don't know when it comes to the report, how would we know if something happened with Title IX? That doesn't get, how would we know
Right.
if a
The only way
policy
we
was
would
being
know
followed?
is if superintendent told us, or if we got an alert from the MASC, or maybe even an alert from the attorneys, because sometimes we get that too.
I almost feel like this is telling us to not ignore the data
Yes.
we're getting.
Yes.
But it's, you're right, it's kind of vague, and it seems specific, like, there's reports. What reports? Who runs them? Who's responsible for those? Who's in charge of taking it all in, and then
Yeah, and then, I agree with you, but, so that's the whole thing with regards to like, I think like a dashboard would help me understand kind of where we're at on the areas for which we're responsible for. And without having a consistent dashboard, whether it be quarterly or whatever the case might be, metrics matter. And without seeing the data, how do we know if the policies are effective or not?
I don't know, guys, you put policies in front of me, and I'm like, well, there's rules, are we following them? Right, like, that's kind of how I end up seeing it. Right.
Manuals about this big.
Exactly,
It's pretty substantial.
yeah.
I'll do a little due diligence on this report. I mean, I don't see why we can't approve this one, but I will research this.
Right, are we,
We're not approving it,
No,
no,
we're not.
it's just a conversation.
Right, so we're discussing more the implementation of the policy
Yeah.
rather than the actual wording of the
Correct.
policy, so we're good on this one.
Yes.
Do we,
Okay.
well, wait, before we go on to the next one, do we want to add the superintendent as necessary?
Yes.
I'll put as needed.
I mean, as needed, yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I think as needed, yeah. So
In
then,
conjunction with,
I think in conjunction with.
so now if we, so I'm anticipating bunching these together if we
Yes,
approve them. So do we need to approve that one separately as amended, or can it just be lumped in with all of them that we approved tonight?
Do we agree on the amended version?
do we agree on the amended version? I agree.
I agree.
We agree,
agree.
yeah.
Okay, then we'll just add that to the motion.
So we'll
at the
just
end.
add it,
Yeah.
okay. Policy Revision and review.
EG, no,
BC, we just did
EGC.
BC.
This one just has a paragraph and some of the next line taken out. Oh, no, it didn't take out the whole paragraph, just took out some sentences.
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it.
kind of like moral.
Same.
Just said.
Yep,
Yes,
second
yep.
paragraph.
Literally, my note is,
Literally, like-
don't think we talk about policies enough. Like, yep, already talked about that.
Are you good with this one, Gordon?
That one we just talked about, yeah.
Only, I see you moving ahead, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I had notes on that.
Okay, so BCG is good. BHE, electronic messaging by school committee members. This one's part of our open meeting law education too.
The only question mark I had was that line in the last paragraph that says, "District shall provide district email addresses which are archived." How does that,
Where are you looking?
The last paragraph.
Oh, I see
That
it.
just means they're backed up.
They are archived.
Yeah.
So they already, even if you delete it, it goes into archive.
so meaning that if somebody sent me an email to my EBPS,
It doesn't really delete.
it goes into the archive?
It's backed up, yeah.
Fine.
Any other issues with that one?
No, it's there forever and ever. Only a number of years.
BIBA, school committee conferences, conventions, and workshops. Any issues with this one? It's just updated the references, right?
on BIBA.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I think this is the one that has a reference.
Oh.
See,
Did we not get a version of that one?
Oh, I guess we didn't. You're right.
Let me look in the old.
So I don't know what they said.
Because I just looked, I don't think, well, see, the blue things are the things that got added in. So I don't, this is the corrected copy,
Okay.
not the original. That's my
Gotcha.
understanding anyway. So I don't think they changed any text. I think they just
Yeah, there was
added
some
the
that were kind of
references.
lumped in, right? And, like combined.
yeah. To me, the key of this one is the first line, provide continuing in-service training and development for its members. It's just like, there's so much to be aware of, to be able to sit on the committee and be effective. And whether you go to the conference in November, whether you go to a meeting on the Hill, whether you do the MASC learning lunches on Fridays, at least something, we don't, MASC doesn't ask us to, have continuing educational credits, but the idea is, hey, there's a lot to learn, and it's gonna take some effort in order to do that, and there's different sources, that's all.
Everybody good with that one?
1 second.
What are you looking for, Ellen?
My BIBA. Making sure that I didn't. No, but thank you, because I have it all in my hand. Sorry, I had to lick my finger. No. One second. Sorry, I'm trying not to hold you all up.
I ship sailed. I say it with love. I say it with love, but we're there
It
already.
was, updated language, shall to will. But I don't know why the MASC version isn't in here, and I don't have it, so I can't, all I know
So
is
do we want to
that
wait on that one too?
Yeah,
Would you feel better waiting on it?
yeah.
Okay.
But all I know is that the updated language was shall to will. I mean, it's simple, but you can't vote on it unless you have it in your hand, so.
So we'll wait. All right, school committee legislative program, BJ.
Are there any changes
I
here?
have my glasses on, I can't even see anymore. This,
I don't see any changes.
I think it's just the source, it's updated, MASC updated 2022. Oh, and there's this one, yes. There's a punctuation update on this one.
Which one?
So I'd like to write to the MASC and say, please do not send us updated policies when you're just changing an M dash to
Well,
a
they
comma.
have it
Thank you
in-
very much.
Have it, just in a large group. It wasn't, they sent it to everybody.
Is this DJ?
I mean
we're
us,
talking
meaning everybody. Yeah, BJ,
about? Oh, BJ.
B as
Oh,
in
so
Bob.
after person and community,
Yeah, after
they
person, they take a
remove the
thing.
dot?
Yes.
Or they added the dot?
At least it was simple.
So are we good with the comma, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Purchasing.
This is DJ.
Yep.
That was,
And this one,
They
this
add
gets
legal-
kind of messy the way they presented
This-
it here.
DJ was adding the legal limitations of public contract with a note on the process for longer contracts. That's what was added.
Where? Which part?
That's just the note that I have.
So is the draft the updated one?
Yes. the
Okay,
draft should be the
okay,
updated
okay.
one.
It's just in a different order than the other ones were, so I get it now.
So was
Instead of
MASC
they on the
22.
second to last paragraph, it says the agent. school
I
development.
wonder if we already did this one. We already did this one.
I don't think we did.
I don't, when?
No, back in '22. And the MASC one is updated '22.
But they're not the
Updated
same.
23. That's
No,
part of
on
the up-
MASC it says 2022.
No, but if you look on the draft, it's, the 2 is crossed out and the 3 is.
Oh, okay, I can't see the 3 because it's on the, whatever you call it.
They are different.
Okay. Is everybody fine with DJ?
Yes. All right, DJA, Purchasing Authority.
I have no notes on this one.
They added to it. They added the part in blue.
Okay.
Okay.
All set? Everybody all set with this one?
Yep.
And then
DJE, Ellen, you wanted to talk about this
DJE.
one?
Well, so, this was, John brought this up the last time, that the dollar amount, it was something to do with the dollar amount that we could
Go to 100.
go, what? Who said what?
Go to 100,000.
Oh, we could do 50,000, or we could do up to 100,000. What does everybody on the committee want to do?
Well, before we do that, John, what's the implication? If we go to 100,000, does it make your life easier or more difficult, or?
Yeah, it would be easier. I mean, there's not a heck of a lot of things we purchased that are over 50,000 that I would have to go out to bid for. To go out to bid, you know, I have to file with combis, put an ad in the newspaper. What else do I have to do? There's 2 other things that need to be done. You have to set up a pre-bid meeting. You invite everyone to bid. They'll come in and do a public opening of the bid. I mean, honestly, either way, it doesn't matter to me which.
So leaving it as it's written right now is 50,000 is not going to be a
Yeah,
problem?
things like purchasing Chromebooks, you know, if I want to purchase over 50,000 in Chromebooks, it's an intensive process to go out to bid.
Yep.
So what becomes the harm in raising it, so that the business administrator can have flexibility there, right?
It comes down to you anyways for taking the vote,
Yeah.
to allowing that
To spend the
100,000.
money
out.
anyway, right?
To be able to spend it.
And it also says in here for districts where purchasing is conducted by the municipal, but we do our own purchasing. The town doesn't do our purchasing. So we don't have to change any procurement policy or anything to,
It would make my life easier, but
At what number?
At 100,000.
100.
And this policy gives us the opportunity, the authority to change that.
Yeah, a new state law came out that allows schools to increase it to 100,000.
what, can you give us, I know maybe this is putting you on the spot, which I'm not trying to do, but could you give us an example of something you might buy up to 100,000?
Well, just like Chromebooks.
Oh.
If you know, we have to buy 4 grades worth of Chromebooks. That's,
So you'd probably come to us and ask us that, or ask the budget subcommittee or something anyway.
It would come through here, I think.
It's still going to come through here.
This just means
Yeah, it's
that
not
if
a free
But it's just not gonna go through the
$52,000,
process of
you don't have to
making
put a bid,
sure that this is the
which makes your
lowest
life
price.
easier. The bids can be messy and it's longer and cumbersome with. If
Yes.
it's like 58,000 Chromebooks, you can just get out of authorization and we're good.
yeah, well, I mean, I still have to, if it's between 10,000 and say you move it to 100,000, I still have to write up the description of what I'm looking to purchase and get 3 separate quotes from companies.
Okay.
So there's still a process. It's not like I could just go out and buy from anybody.
Okay.
It's still a process. It's not as intensive as going out to bid.
Yeah.
But there's still a process that I have to do.
Are you okay, Liz, if it goes to 100? Makes sense?
Yes.
Does everybody want to change for 100,000?
I think one of the reasons, John, wasn't it the auditorium lighting? At one point, we were stuck.
Well, that.
When we went out to bid,
So
right,
that's
wasn't it?
construction.
Yeah,
I
wasn't-
consider that construction, which is different.
Yeah, but what was it? It was something in that auditorium. Was it the panel? There was something that we needed that we were stuck on, and we couldn't get.
Well, I mean, we're looking at a new projector and electronics in the auditorium. I mean, the quotes came in at 45,000, so I wouldn't have to go to bid on that. But if the quote came in at 55,000, I mean, I would have to go out to bid on that.
But I think that was the concern that we were talking about before, when this first came out.
Yeah,
When we first had that first conversation, it was like if something comes in and over that, it just allows us to keep moving forward.
So I think if we make it 100,000, we should add, hold on, when we adopt it and it goes into our policy manual, does it include the references, the sources? Yeah, so
State law.
yes, I think whatever the state law that you're talking about that bumped up the number to 100,000, I think that should be included on the policy when it's updated so that it's cited accurately.
Yeah, that should be listed.
It's probably honestly already in here. The law that says $50,000 is cited, I'm sure. And it's probably just, I bet you could just click through a couple clicks on the state website and find it.
it says it on the next page.
Yeah.
After 198, the acts of 2000.
22.
And
There may be a specific
Exactly.
section.
No.
that needs to be removed.
They did, they anticipated a need.
Know what's up there.
All right, so are we good with upping it to 100,000?
Yes.
And we're good with the policy?
The only note, it's a typo, I think, anyway, in the second to last paragraph, the one that starts, procurement for a supplier service in the amount of $10,000 or greater. It says by, not more than $50,000. I think it should say but that's how I read it.
Oh,
I think it's talking about a difference. I wouldn't go messing with that.
I think by is correct.
Amount of
Or
10,000.
graded by
It's
not.
greater
more
by
than-
not more than
Yeah,
50,000,
that
like
makes-
greater by,
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I'm not gonna pretend to come up with an example because my
Oh,
math will
okay.
be wrong.
All right, no, that's fine.
So
I
instead of the
didn't read it like that.
50,000, we
Okay.
say 100,000.
So you'll have to change 50 to 100 in two places?
Where's the other, up here? For any supply or service over 100,000.
Yep. And then down the bottom, oh, no,
Not
I was
over
wrong. You're right.
100,000.
The top one is 100 and then the second one should not be changed. Right?
I think the top one's not, for any supply or service over 100,000, bids will be advertised appropriately. I think that should still say 50,000, they still have to be advertised appropriately.
I thought that was over.
No, that's what we're changing.
Changing 50,000 in both places.
Yep.
It's, yeah, so the bottom should be changed too? Yeah, okay.
We need to know the proper MGL reference, because if it's chapter 198, there's no MGL reference down here, so I'll have to look into that.
That line doesn't seem like it's in reference to how John's process. That seems like it's a reference to the process. Like if we're putting a bid out for something that's $10,000 or greater by not more than 50. the
It's two
award-
different 50, yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's.
two different 50Ks.
Yeah, they don't,
That's
they
why I'm
don't
saying
tie
I don't
together.
think This one.
Yeah.
So why don't you make the update, like, create our own draft with the 100K, and then we run it by legal to make sure we've understood it properly?
Yeah.
Because the second 50K, I worry
I
about
wouldn't-
us
I wouldn't
getting
touch
wrong.
that.
I don't want to touch it, but I also don't understand legalese enough to know.
That, and I want to have the proper, because it says chapter 198, but these MGL, usually the first number is the chapter, so there's no 198 chapter, so I want to make sure that we're at least referencing the
All
proper.
right, so DJE, you're gonna look into as well.
Yeah.
But we all agree that raising it to 100K is fine.
What if that relates to like, if you have 3 bids on something and one bid's 68,000, the other one's 125?
Right, and so the
that
difference
50,000
is,
that
yes,
gulf.
so that's why I'm wondering if we should
I don't think we
change that.
should, you shouldn't
50K.
touch that.
Right,
I think it's, anything up to 10,000, I need to use sound business practices. Anything from 10,000 to 100,000, I need to get 3 quotes. Anything over 100,000, I need to go out to bid.
Is this telling you, though, if you have quote A is 60,000 and quote B is 150, to go with quote A? Is that asking you to do that? Be awarded to the responsible party offering the needed quantity?
Right.
is that basically your purview is like if you have the bids of 3 companies and one company's the same value is much cheaper, go with them. You don't go, okay. I'm fine with that.
So, well, I'll ask it now while we're going through these. Do I have permission to contact legal to go through a few? Yeah. Thank you.
It's the same, same references.
BDFA, BD,
So we're not gonna do DJE tonight, because you're gonna go back and look,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So that's it for, oh wait, no, we have new policies. Never mind, I lied, sorry.
well,
Got all
so
excited.
BDFAE is rewritten to include BDFAE 1, 2, and 3, and BDFA is also rewritten. So the BDFAE and BDFA are rewritten. BDFAE 1, 2, and 3 are going to be eliminated. That's in the next section. The 1, 2, and 3 are in the next.
They're being eliminated and substituted with this first one, school improvement plan.
Yes, and
Is this working
BDFA.
well, Liz?
So we already went through BDFA.
Plans from each of the individual schools? Working with the council?
That was, BDFA, we already looked at the rewrite, a few pages back. It was all in blue, and we all agreed to it.
Yep,
So
yep.
that's one of them, and then BDFAE is the, also, that's a new policy, but it's merged, the 1, 2, and 3 are in there. If that made sense.
I'm going to vote that Ellen gets a raise.
I didn't rewrite these, I just,
Council.
Oh, raise
a
from
raise, I don't
zero,
get
that's
anything, I
great.
get 0.
You can double it.
Does anybody have any questions on this one?
Nope.
BD.
Well, I'm sorry.
BDFAE, we're good?
So we're okay with that, and then we're okay with, because we approved that, we get rid of E1, 2, that's in the,
Bless you.
in the next
To remove
section.
the policy, yep,
To
so we
remove it.
removed those because that,
Yeah. And then BK was removed as unnecessary.
okay. So,
So that's it for that section.
so why don't we say,
Want me to go through it and make the motion?
well, why don't we make a motion to approve all of the,
Well, I'll just list them and say, I'll list them and then I'll say, including the couple of,
I was just gonna say all of the second reading policies except for,
Oh,
and the
okay,
what, like
sure.
pull out the ones that we were gonna,
okay. Well, Mr. Power, you have to type this up exactly the way the motion is stated. So we probably have to, because next year when the chair does the report, the town report, if the minutes aren't written correctly, you won't have all the information in there. So you might want to just list the policies, maybe.
okay. Do you wanna make the motion?
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
I motion that we approve policy, and this is the second reading of, I'm gonna read, we're gonna approve AA, ACA, ADC, BBBA slash. What?
BBAA.
We were gonna pull that one out, I thought.
No,
That's why she
yeah, we're
wasn't
pulling
saying
that
it.
one out, that's why I didn't say it.
Yeah, that's why she added the third base. She had skipped it. Good
Okay,
luck.
so I move that we approve AA, ACA, ADC, BBBA, BBBB.
We were gonna
BB.
pull that one out.
No, we're pulling out, no, this one's a merged one, it's a BBBA and
You
BB.
have to get this motion exactly with all of
Yes.
this.
This is clear so far, right?
Yeah.
I have us, ready, let's do it this way. I have us pulling out BBAA,
Yes,
BBBA slash BBBB.
no,
Yes, because we were gonna talk about who gets the oath of office.
oh, no, I thought we were gonna approve it, and I'm gonna research it.
Don't
think
you
we
have to
can do
research
that.
it before we, you have to do the research first.
Yeah, we can't.
We can't approve something that we don't know what we're gonna do with it, because if your research comes up that it's not bound by law, that that's the way it has to be, then we might change it.
Oh, okay. I'd have a note, okay. I didn't write, I
So
wrote down the note.
this is
but-
why we're going down the list to confirm before you go and read the whole thing, and poor Mike has to type it 17 times.
Okay,
So we're gonna pull out BBAA, BBBAA, and BBBBBBBBBB. BIBA
yes,
and DJE,
yes,
and that's it.
yes.
Okay, go.
So I move that we approve AA, school district legal status, ACA, non-discrimination on the basis of sex, ADC, tobacco products on school premises prohibited, BDFA, school councils, BG, school committee policy development, BGC, policy revision and review, BHE, use of electronic messaging by school committee members, BJ, school committee legislative program, DJ purchasing, DJA purchasing authority, and BDFAE, school improvement plan. Those are to be approved, and then BDFAE 1, 2, and 3 are being removed. BK is being removed also.
I second.
Moved by Ellen, seconded by Gordon. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. That was painful. Okay, now we have the first, you want me to do this?
Hold on,
All
let's
right.
catch up for a
You're-
second.
You're really close to losing your raise here, Ellen.
He's gonna take it out. All right, so I just wanna have my notes accurate, so.
And that motion should include any updated language that we added on a couple of the policies
Can't go back.
as we amended it.
And approved.
Good job.
I wanted to just put that in. Did you get that, Mr. Power?
You'd have to go back and redo it.
Your motion can only stand for the ones that you read out.
Yes.
Right,
I
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So if Mrs. Pennington wants.
No, I think what she was stating is like in conjunction with the superintendent with regards to the policy, we had said earlier on, we all agreed that
add that
changing that
little
language is
piece.
fine. That was the only one.
Oh, okay. You want that as notes for each, okay.
Thank you.
You'll be, as an action item, you'll be considered tabled, but I can note
Well, we only tabled 3, right?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. We tabled 4.
The IBA.
Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
So those will show up as tabled,
Yes.
tabled for this, but with the
Well,
And we have the recording too.
Yeah, well, this is unusual.
He'll be able to refer back to the recording to
yes.
make sure he types it up accurately.
yes, you might want to do that. Okay, thank you.
We do get the minutes to approve them, so it'll be fine. Just read the minutes
Yes,
in advance,
yes,
carefully,
yes.
so that, send Ellen a draft before we,
Yes,
just to make sure that's all correct before we even come to the table. So we'll do that. Okay.
I make sure you review these, you BYOB.
Very nice. Okay. So we just did all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going through the action items to see where we are.
I think
We're
we're on
on,
first
we're on the
reading
first
of
reading of
proposed
the-
changes
Yes.
to
No.
following school committee
We're on-
policy.
No, yeah, the action
We're not,
items.
yeah,
She's
we did all
going to
those.
the back page just to make sure that she's gone through
Yes.
all the action items.
oh. Well, we have to take out the,
Yeah, I'm doing that part.
Okay.
Don't confuse me.
I won't.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready.
Ready for section C?
Sure. Ready as I'll ever be.
We don't action these though tonight, right?
No action item on these. This is just first reading.
Well, hold on a minute.
Going by the
So-
agenda? No action item?
Yes, well, but it could be. So we have, section C, we have, they're all just either updated language or grammar, commas. Let's see, like CA was updated language, CB updated language. We have a grammar update, updated language, another, updated title and grammar update, commas added. Do we want to go through each one quickly?
No.
Because we could actually, if you go through them quickly.
But
we could
they're not all
actually-
commas. Like, this first one isn't just, that's wording.
Did anybody look at these before this meeting?
Ellen, you gave us a lot of.
I just glanced through it. I had all I could do to memorize the first group.
I was hoping
I'll
we,
know this by heart the next time we
I
get
know.
together.
No, I outed myself last time. I said one packet at a time. We have 1,000 other things going on. I did my homework with the first packet. I was thoughtful about it. I did not get to read this packet.
Right.
imagine what it's like for me to.
I completely, yes, I agree with that. I'm just outing myself. I 100% did not get to look through this packet. So if I can save everybody time by saying I would not.
Probably won't bring any more packets. I won't bring another packet until, after.
I think that makes
June.
sense, because if
June
we
stuff.
bring this to the next meeting, then it's the same group that's reading and approving.
And then
And
I
if you
won't-
bring any first readings to the next one, it will be a different committee by the time you come around to
Yeah,
approving
so
them.
just so everybody knows, I'm gonna bring the next large packet in June, the first meeting in June. Because we have 2 in June.
Have fun, guys.
I'm traveling in June.
Well, we have a lot of sections to go through, so, we'll still be doing it in August and probably September, like, we're
You
gonna,
thought you were getting out of it.
we have a lot, there's a lot that, it's almost the entire manual. This is like the entire manual is getting updated, so I'm really sorry to make you guys go through this, but it's not my
I
fault.
don't think you have to be sorry about it.
No, you don't
It's
have to be
part of
sorry
the
about it. I
role.
just think
I don't blame
just
you.
It needs to be
realistic
done in chunks.
expectations of our abilities outside of this meeting.
No, but
might be-
thank you, Ellen.
No,
It's
this is a lot of
really
work.
really
This
tedious
is a lot of work, and I thank you for going through all of this.
I spend many hours at my dining room table. Many, many, many.
Okay, so we're gonna do section C.
Yes,
What we just did now, we're gonna do section C at our next meeting.
if you insist, okay.
I do insist. I think we all insist.
No more packets. I'm reviewing.
June, the
Further
first
back.
meeting in June, sorry. Because May is gonna be too busy.
Action, I know we,
We did the first. Let's go to payroll.
I'm looking, there they are, they're buried
Our
in
next
here.
meeting.
I got them, I found them.
So I'll just-
Yeah, there's 3 left, right?
Yeah, I had to find them because I had all my notes.
Well, it's really only one meeting I'm skipping with the policies, because May 7th is the next one we go over, section C.
Yeah, and we'll do section C at that one. So you're not bringing any new policies to the May
No.
7th meeting? You will bring new
No.
policies to the next meeting, which I
June,
don't
the
have
first-
on my calendar.
The first June meeting,
Okay. June 3rd, is that after or before graduation?
after.
Okay. 3 more action items. I believe in us. I will take a motion to approve payroll warrant number 41 PS dated 4/10/24.
So moved.
Moved by Scott,
Second.
seconded by Ellen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of the school committee meeting of April 9th, 2024.
So moved.
Hold on, you have a hold, please.
A what?
Yeah.
Good
Carry on.
catch. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of the school committee meeting April 9th.
So moved.
Spelling error. I think it's Mamma Mia with 3 M's.
No 3 M's.
Moved
On
by,
that version it
moved
does.
by Gordon,
Second?
seconded by Becky. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Maybe it was a stutter.
I will take a motion to approve the account payable warrant number 42 SV dated 4/17/24.
So moved.
Moved by Ellen,
Second.
seconded by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so
There's no one here for public comment, just addressing that for
sometime tomorrow.
posterity.
I'm tied up in the morning, but sometime tomorrow I will contact legal and ask them about the few policies that I need to ask them about.
And if you forget anything,
I'll call you.
nope. I was gonna say, you can wait until the meeting gets posted on EBCAM and you can watch it. Nope. And take your notes that way.
Oh, no, I took notes.
Would you like to?
I have been known to watch meetings, but I don't enjoy that
Yes.
anymore.
Tomorrow is Administrative Assistants Appreciation Day. So I want to make sure that we say thank you to all of the administrative assistants that are in our district. They do a lot of work for a lot of people all of the time, and we like to thank all of the schools, Central, Mitchell, and the Junior Senior High School. Thank you for all you do for us.
Absolutely.
The last three things we have, I think you guys all got these from Mr. Silva, principal. Senior night, Senior Scholarship Awards Night, Wednesday,
doing
May
that one.
22nd. You're going to do that?
Yep.
Okay. And we have diplomas and graduation. Anybody on the committee that wants to attend, you get your robe.
I'm gonna be there too.
Perfect, that's May 31st at 6. And then underclass celebration of accomplishment night, June 11th, Tuesday. They need someone
Were you
who'd like
gonna
to
do
give
that
a
one,
big
Gordon?
speech.
I'm not joking. I thought I remembered.
Gordon has done it in the past.
This isn't one of those things. No.
No, I hadn't volunteered for that. No, I had not.
Well, they would respectfully like to invite one of us to do that.
Tuesday, June 11th. It is not a committee meeting. I remember we discussed this last time.
Did think on it.
So that's still outstanding. Well, and by then, you know, it'll be past the election, so
If
that
nobody wants
whoever's
to
gonna
do it,
be
I
here
could
will be set in
resurrect
stone.
my old speech or something.
There you go. I'm
But I'm
not,
hoping that
I'm not
somebody-
available.
I'm hoping, I'm hoping that somebody offers.
I tried last year. It didn't work out.
Oh, you're right, it
Did I
didn't.
end up doing it for you?
No, I went to
No,
the school and
they
it had been
changed the
canceled.
date.
Oh,
So I just sat there like, where's everybody?
Sounded good.
I did, in my car by myself. Had a great-
Gordon, if you're around, maybe you'll save me.
I'll be around. Don't
So
tell
you were
Laura.
kidding about the travel in June then?
June 11th, I might be
I'll
around.
be there virtually.
I will take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Scott,
Second.
seconded by
I'm
Ellen.
feeling like we forget something.
I was just,
You feel that way too?
I don't think we are, though. We approved all, we did all the action items, I checked.
August, first week in September.
Prom comes after the next meeting.
Those, the four guys, right? The three guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
Four of us,
that,
yep.
well, you'll probably do it, that they have a very safe and
That's how
happy
it's supposed to be.
prom.
Looking forward to it.
Remind me. Okay? All in favor of adjourning our meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have a second?
Oh, second. Who seconded it? I don't know. Second. I'll second it.
You second.
Moved by Scott, seconded by Ellen, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
thank you.
I got policies on the brain.